Good afternoon and welcome back to the 8th episode of Across the Wave, where we fill you in on everything you missed from the last week, Delbarton related, and highlight some pro and college sports. I'm Lorenzo Scola, joined by Ryan Dooley, and we have a ton to talk about with you today.
Yeah, we're going to start on a different note than normal. Beloved member of the Delbarton community, offensive line coach Nick Mangold, tragically passed away this weekend. And he was just obviously an amazing person for our football team, amazing mentor to all the players and all the other coaches he interacted with. Truly just a great human being to be around, and a big loss for the Delbarton community and for the NFL community as well. He was a All-Pro Hall of Fame center for the New York Jets, and just a tragic loss, and our thoughts and prayers go out to him and his loved ones.
Yeah, definitely you can see the type of person he was, giving back, coming back to teach high school football. Amazing mentor, as you said, for all the players on the team. Tragic loss.
Absolutely, and he said in a Jersey Sports Zone interview how much it meant to him to give back to the game of football, the coach at the high school level, and I know definitely of talking to classmates how much of an impact he left on them. So moving on, for this football team, it was a huge win for them this week, bouncing back from a tough loss against Bergen Catholic. They defeat DePaul 28-6, a huge win for the Green Wave to get some confidence back. And that's really big. The passing game in this game looked really strong. Gavin Gallardi had himself a great day, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 to Matthew Tafuri and 1 to Gerard Yu. And you really see it was a bit slower of a run game, with the exception of Matthew Tafuri, who had an outstanding performance throughout the game. But overall, this offense looked completely different. It looked much more well-rounded, from passing to running the ball. And overall, it just looked very dangerous against a strong DePaul defense as well.
Yeah.
Of course, the Delbarton defense also held their own. Just great plays. They had an interception from Matt O'Leary, that a forced fumble from Chaz Cusimano, limiting a talented DePaul offense to only 6 points with a 4-star quarterback in Derek Zammit. I mean, that's an extremely impressive win from the Green Wave moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. They got out to that early lead, 21-0, and they took it away from there. And highlighting some key performances from this one, as you mentioned, Gavin Gallardi had those 2 touchdown passes, 96 yards, 8 for 12 on the day. Tafuri, 3 total touchdowns, 174 rushing yards on just 12 attempts, 225 all-purpose yards. On defense, Michael Scafani had 2 tackles for loss, 8 solo tackles, and Chris Dadas, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack. So really dominant performance from the Delbarton defense. Way to pull them through against this high-powered QB like Derek Zammit. Austin Kiley recently switched from running back to cornerback. He broke up 2 passes. In other news, St. Joe's, they posed an early 28-7 lead off Bergen Catholic, but Bergen Catholic made a comeback. They ultimately lost 43-42 in overtime when St. Joe's went for 2. So it's going to be big, to watch out for these next games in the final week to determine the 1 through 4 seed, with Bergen right now being 3. It's huge for the Green Wave because they'll most likely be playing the 4 seed unless something crazy happens where they can move up. So it'll be huge to see all these games and how it turns out and who the Green Wave plays, if they'll get a second chance against St. Peter's maybe, or face St. Joe's or Don Bosco for the first time this season.
Yeah, but it's all going to start next week. Moving week to week, this Green Wave team is. And next week's going to be a big matchup, a chance to get above 500 with a huge matchup against Paramus Catholic. And on paper, this should be a win for Delbarton. With looking at Paramus Catholic, they're at 3-6 currently. But don't get fooled. Paramus Catholic still has a very strong team. They've just played an extremely tough schedule. They've played Bergen Catholic, St. Joe's, Don Bosco. They lost to DePaul as well. They lost to St. Peter's as well. They lost to an out-of-state team. Those are their 6 losses. Really, you look at that team on paper, you see 3-6, you think that would be an easy win, but this could turn out to be a very close game for Delbarton, and it's going to be a very important one too. This is a chance for them to get above 500 moving into the playoffs and really gain some confidence moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Paramus Catholic, those 6 losses, but those are all to incredible teams, so it really builds them up. So they'll be looking to try to knock Delbarton down seeding-wise for the upcoming playoffs. Next up, we're going to discuss the soccer team. So after falling to Chatham in the Morris County semifinal, the Green Wave have picked up 3 straight dominant wins. It is clear that Coach Donovan has really instilled a new fight and will into this team heading into states after some uncharacteristic losses. First, starting off, they picked up a 3-0 win versus Summit. Cortland Martin, the standout freshman, had a goal, and Matthew Brusco, who's really emerged to be an amazing player for the Green Wave, who's a freshman, starting out early, getting played little by little, but now he's playing major moments for this team. So great to see another young guy progress. He had 2 goals against Summit. Then they picked up a 6-0 win versus Sparta. There was a lot of guys with goals. Max Horitz, he had 1. Peter Wynn had 2. Owen Miller had 2. And Max Miller had 1. Then they won 4-0 versus Mount Olive. Goals for Evan Johnson, Cortland Martin, Peter Lyons, and Marcus Arthur in that one. They have one last game tomorrow. Then they'll have States, where Delbarton should possess a good seed, as they ultimately fell last year in the state finals to St. Benedict's. So look for them to ride on this momentum, try to pick up a 4th game, because they'll be dangerous if they can pick up another win tomorrow, riding 4 games into States. So it'll be great to see. Goal-wise, Cortland Martin up to 10 goals on the season. Brusco has 5, Wynn has 5, a couple with 4, and a bunch with 3. Other news, Chatham ultimately beat Randolph 1-0 to win the Morris County tournament final. Congrats to them.
One thing I've definitely saw about this Green Wave soccer team is they play a methodical game. You look at their passing, they want to control the ball, and for a lot of games they will. They're going to try to take mismatches on numbers and really exploit these long runs once they control the ball. However, they've just made really costly mistakes. We saw it against that game against Morris Knowles that we live streamed on the Green Wave Sports Network, and it happened against Chatham too, which they ended up losing in the Morris County tournament. Just mistakes that shouldn't happen earlier in the game, giving up the lead, and then after that, it allows the opposition to just drop fully into defense, and it's really hard to take advantage of numbers when the other team is entirely focused on defense.
Yeah,
so I think moving forward for this team, it's just really important that they control the ball, do the little things right, don't make those mistakes, because when they're playing one-on-one, when they're at a 0-0 game and they're playing their game, they're going to be unstoppable.
Definitely all good things that you mentioned, and they have to do that if they want to beat some of these good teams in the upcoming state tournaments.
Now for cross country, they had a big week. Last week they competed at the Morris County Champions, and one real standout was Ryan Leuenberger. We've been saying his name a lot on the show all year, it seems like. He posted another PR of 16 minutes, 16 seconds. He was the 6th overall place in the county as a junior. He was the highest ranked junior in the entire race. So he's really shaping up to do big things in the rest of the postseason for this cross-country team, and hopefully for the rest of his Delbarton career. And as for this cross-country team, they're going to be going on to Catholic School Champions next Saturday, and then the Saturday after that, they are going to have state championships. So a huge schedule coming up for this cross-country team.
Yeah, and now going into the sub-varsity schedule. So freshman football, they fell to DePaul this past weekend 21-7. They're 3-4 in the season, and they'll finish their season with a game this week against Paramus. JV soccer, they fell to Lawrenceville 4-2, but picked up a win against Roxbury 5-0 and tied Montclair 3-3. They face Roxbury again tomorrow in Mount Olive the next day to finish their season, and they're currently standing at 10-4-5. Great season for them. Freshman soccer also having an amazing season. They beat Columbian High School 1-0, but lost to Montclair 4-2. They're 11-4-4 on the season, and they also face Roxbury Mount Olive next. So last couple of games left for this sub-varsity schedule, really the building blocks for these amazing teams on varsity. So it'll be great to see these players move on next season up to JV if you're a freshman, and JV hopefully to varsity.
Yeah, and we have even more commitment news coming out of the Green Wave. First off is going to be senior AJ Sacento, pitcher, first baseman for the Delbarton baseball team. He announced his commitment to Delaware, dealing with an arm injury from last year, bouncing back. Just really impressive throughout his time that he has played for this Delbarton team and also for club teams. Really strong player, and he's going to make a big impact on the next level. Also, we have Ryan DeGeorge, wrestler for the Green Wave in the class of 2027, who announced his commitment to stay at home and play for Rutgers. So a big announcement for him. Another big landing for this Delbarton wrestling team. Again, they're shaping up to be really strong this year. And we have another baseball player, class of 2027, Steven Panulo, right-handed pitcher. I mean, he's just been lighting it up. He's been in the 90s from the mound multiple times. He has been super solid for the Green Wave baseball team this past spring, looking to repeat it again and lead this team to another Morris County championship. He committed to Boston College to play ACC baseball. Huge commitment for him. And also we have another football commitment, Gerard Yu. He caught a touchdown pass this weekend, and he's also going to hopefully continue doing that from Middlebury College. So another great landing for another great student athlete.
Now moving on to some pro sports and college sports. The Jets, they finally pick up their first win, 1-7, ruining their defeated season. But nice for them. Breece Hall throwing touchdown and the rookie tight end Mason Taylor to ultimately beat the Bengals 39-38. And the Ravens, after having a very struggling season for a team that was so dominant last season, they finally get a win against the Bears 30-16. The banged up 49ers, they finally fall to the Texans, who were also banged up, missing Nico Collins, but they couldn't get the job done. Texans win that one 25-16. Rashee Rice, in his second game back, had another amazing day with 2 touchdowns and about 90 yards. Tucker Kraft for your Packers, 33 points in fantasy for me. The Packers pick up a win against the Steelers, a little bit of back and forth, but the Packers offense was just too dominant. And Barkley, he really torched the Giants, and unfortunately Cam Scadaboo fell down with an injury.
Yeah, now going into college football, another solid week. Texas A&M with another huge win over SEC opponent LSU, 49-25, which leads to the firing of head coach Brian Kelly. So LSU looking for a new coach now. It looks like a lot of big teams are. We have Penn State, Florida, LSU now joins the mix. Vanderbilt secures another quality win over Missouri, 17-10. And Alabama was given a scare by South Carolina, but they pull through, beating the Gamecocks 29-22. As for next week, we have some great matchups. First off, number 14 Tennessee versus number 18 Oklahoma. We'll have Vanderbilt playing number 20th ranked Texas, and also Utah Cincinnati for your ranked matchups.
Yeah, and now going into a fantasy player for the week, with Cam Scadaboo suffering a very bad ankle injury. My choice this week is Tyrone Tracy. He was amazing last season. Look to him to reemerge as the Giants lead back now with Scadaboo out. He had 1,250 yards last season and 12 touchdowns. So look to him for him to be a great pickup if he's a free agent. He's about 39% rostered in fantasy. So a great option if you're in need of a running back. And what about for you?
Yeah, you mentioned Tucker Kraft, his monster performance. I'm going with another Green Bay threat. I'm going with Christian Watson. He returned from injury this past week, put up 12 solid points. Bit of a slower game for him, but he can really heat up. We see this Green Bay Packers team really using Jordan Love in the air, and with Christian Watson coming back, he's been a solid receiver for them. He can really have a breakout year.
Yeah, definitely an amazing choice. Now moving on to the MLB, what do you have for that?
Yeah, so now we're in World Series. It's crunch time. Dodgers currently up 2-1 following a crazy 18-inning game last night, Monday night. Freddie Freeman breaks it in the 18th inning with a walk-off home run. He did it last year against the Yankees. He does it this year against the Blue Jays. Moving forward, it's shaping up to be a great series.
Yeah, definitely. That was a crazy one. In the 14th inning, looked like the Dodgers could maybe pull through. They had someone on third after an early double, but the Blue Jays were able to get 2 outs. So now, look to see that series. It's going to be great. We'll have coverage for that next week for you. And finally, something new with the basketball season starting up again. We're going to add a little bit of NBA into the mix. And just so on for these first 4 games and 3 games for teams, Victor Wembanyama is looking like a superhuman player. The Spurs, they're 4-0, and he's the first person in NBA history to get 100 points, 40 rebounds, and 15 blocks in the first 4 games. he looks like an amazing standout player for the Spurs. For the Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo leading in rebounds and 36 points per game so far, carrying that Bucks team on the back. He is an amazing player as always, but looks even better this year. Steph Curry, age really is not mattering for him. He's still putting up every three and just making it in. Had an electric game, and he's averaging around 30 points. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he had 55 points, his career high. So the Bulls, the Spurs, the Thunder are all 4-0, and really shaping up to be a great NBA season.
Yeah, this is the best part of the year for sure. Big Four all having games, and hopefully we'll have a World Series champion when we see you guys again. That's going to be all for this time. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Across the Wave. I'm Ryan Dooley, joined by Lorenzo Scola. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.